1. Germany approves sale of 40 Eurofighters to Turkey. What it means. 2. Turkish FM hails cooperation with Britain, urges expansion of bilateral trade. 3. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy boosts security and trade ties in Ankara Turkey visit 2024. 4. Boğaziçi University Security Forum, Global Instability, AI Threats, and Defense in the Modern Era. 1. Germany approves sale of 40 Eurofighters to Turkey. What it means. A geopolitical bombshell is about to drop in European defense circles. Germany stands poised to greenlight Turkey's massive purchase of 40 cutting-edge Eurofighter jets, a decision that could reshape military alliances and spark heated debates about ethics versus realpolitik. This potential breakthrough ends over a decade of stalled negotiations and geopolitical arm wrestling, with Ankara now reportedly just one signature away from finalizing a deal that's as controversial as it is strategically significant. But here's where it gets controversial. This approval comes despite Turkey's contentious military interventions abroad, forcing us to ask, when does national interest override human rights concerns in arms deals? Fresh from discussions at The Hague's NATO summit, newly elected German Chancellor Friedrich Merz appears ready to break the deadlock that previously saw Germany's three-party coalition, the SPD, Greens, and FDP, block the sale. Their objections stemmed from Turkey's military campaigns in Syria and Libya, combined with Ankara's treatment of Kurdish populations. Yet in a striking policy reversal, Merz's government now seems willing to prioritize strengthening EU-Turkey ties and supporting Europe's defense industry over these ethical reservations. The United Kingdom, spearheading the deal through BAE Systems, has been pushing hard for this $3.5 billion transaction since March. Here's why it matters. The Eurofighter Consortium, a joint venture between Germany, Spain, Italy, and the UK, requires unanimous approval for exports. While Spain and Germany plan modest domestic orders, manufacturers warn that without major foreign sales like Turkey's, production lines could stall, threatening thousands of skilled jobs across Europe. British trade unions have even lobbied their government to favour Eurofighters over American F-35s, arguing this preserves both jobs and European military sovereignty. But there's an elephant in the room. This deal positions Turkey, a NATO member increasingly at odds with Western allies, as the second-largest Eurofighter operator globally, right behind Saudi Arabia. The timing is particularly sensitive given Washington's 2023 cancellation of Turkey's F-35 order over its Russian S-400 missile system purchase. Could European jets now fill the void left by blocked American hardware? Proponents argue this strengthens Europe's defense autonomy, while critics warn of arming a nation with questionable conflict zone conduct. And here's the kicker. This decision could set a dangerous precedent. If Germany approves the sale despite previous human rights objections, does this mean economic interests now trump ethical considerations in EU arms exports? We want to hear from you. Should nations prioritize preserving defense industry jobs over restricting military sales to governments embroiled in controversial conflicts? The comments section is open for your heated takes. 2. Turkish FM hails cooperation with Britain, urges expansion of bilateral trade. In a world where global partnerships are more crucial than ever, Turkey and Britain have stepped up to showcase what true collaboration looks like. But here's where it gets compelling. While the two nations already share an impressive trade relationship valued at nearly $30 billion annually, their leaders are pushing for even greater economic synergy. Could this be the blueprint for modern diplomacy? On June 30, 2025, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and British Foreign Secretary David Lammy addressed the press in Ankara, emphasizing the depth of cooperation between their countries. Fidan described the ties as the intense cooperation as spanning critical sectors such as defense, technology, and the economy. He also underscored how vital these partnerships are in addressing pressing geopolitical issues, from the conflicts in Gaza and Syria to the war in Ukraine and tensions across the broader Middle East. One standout moment during the conference was Fidan's praise for Britain's supportive role on regional matters. Notably, He welcomed the UK's recent decision to lift specific sanctions on Syria, a move that could pave the way for renewed dialogue and stability in the region. However, not everyone agrees on the implications of such steps. Some critics argue that easing sanctions might embolden regimes without ensuring accountability. Where do you stand on this debate? Is lifting sanctions a step toward peace or a risky compromise? Trade expansion remains at the heart of the discussions. Both nations aim to strengthen their already robust commercial ties, with hopes pinned on a potential free trade agreement, FTA. According to Lammy, this deal could unleash mutual benefits worth up to £28 billion, $38.36 billion, creating opportunities for businesses and consumers alike. We look forward to the negotiations on the free trade agreement in the coming weeks and months, Lammy stated optimistically. Yet, crafting such agreements is no small feat. Balancing interests while navigating political sensitivities can test even the strongest alliances. Beyond economics, the conversation extended into humanitarian efforts. Lammy commended Turkey's active role in mediating peace in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, acknowledging its commitment to resolving one of today's most devastating wars. Additionally, both ministers reiterated their dedication to tackling the crisis in Gaza, advocating for ceasefires, notably between Iran and Israel, and supporting a two-state solution for Palestinians. These goals reflect a shared vision of fostering long-term peace and prosperity. And this is the part most people miss. Behind the headlines about trade figures and diplomatic talks lies a deeper narrative about leadership and trust. Building relationships based on mutual respect and common objectives isn't just good politics, it's essential for solving global challenges. So, as Turkey and Britain chart this ambitious path forward, we're left wondering, will other nations follow suit, prioritizing cooperation over competition? Or will skepticism hinder progress? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear your take. 3. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy boosts security and trade ties in Ankara Turkey visit 2024. UK-Turkey relations, a critical partnership in an age of global uncertainty. The bond between Britain and Turkey stands at a pivotal crossroads of security cooperation and economic opportunity, and today's high-level diplomatic engagement aims to strengthen this crucial alliance. Foreign Secretary David Lammy is making his inaugural bilateral journey to Ankara today, Monday the 30th of June, underscoring the profound importance the UK places on its strategic relationship with Turkey. This landmark visit comes at a time when international alliances are being tested like never before. But here's where it gets interesting. As global tensions rise, the UK-Turkey partnership is actually deepening rather than fracturing. During his time in the Turkish capital, Lammy will engage in substantive discussions with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, focusing on two pressing international crises: the volatile situation in the Middle East and Russia's ongoing unlawful aggression against Ukraine. As key NATO partners, both nations are actively collaborating to champion diplomatic resolutions and halt escalating violence that poses significant threats to both regional stability and global security frameworks. The recently published National Security Strategy explicitly identifies Turkey as a critical partner for British security interests. A particularly noteworthy aspect of this collaboration involves potential Eurofighter Typhoon exports to Turkey, a move the British government strongly supports, viewing Turkey's potential adoption of these advanced aircraft as building upon decades of mutual trust between these essential NATO allies. Beyond military cooperation, the partnership extends to tackling shared challenges including counter-terrorism initiatives, combating sophisticated criminal networks, and addressing irregular migration patterns, all vital components of a comprehensive security relationship. And this is the part most people overlook. The economic dimension of this relationship is equally transformative. Lammy's visit coincides with the commencement of negotiations for an enhanced free trade agreement, FTA, designed to create substantial new opportunities for businesses on both sides. The economic stakes couldn't be higher. UK-Turkey trade currently generates almost £28 billion annually and directly sustains tens of thousands of British jobs. Further strengthening these commercial ties represents a core priority for the Foreign Secretary and aligns perfectly with the Prime Minister's ambitious plan for change, which places economic growth at the centre of Britain's national agenda. Speaking about the significance of the visit, Foreign Secretary David Lammy remarked, "In an increasingly volatile world, the UK and Turkey remain the closest of friends and partners as we work together to find peaceful solutions to conflict in the Middle East and Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. Ours is a relationship which delivers directly for Turkish and British citizens at home. Trade between our nations is responsible for thousands of jobs, while our security and defence links help keep our people safe." Lammy's itinerary includes a visit to the Neural Machina factory to inspect Turkish-manufactured armoured vehicles that incorporate British-made safety systems and engines, a tangible example of successful industrial collaboration between the nations. Later, at Ankara Airport, the Foreign Secretary will meet with Airbus country President Simon Ward to celebrate a recent commercial agreement between Airbus and Turkish cargo carrier MNG Airlines. This deal, involving aircraft equipped with British-manufactured Rolls-Royce engines, represents a commercial arrangement worth hundreds of millions to both the British and Turkish economies. But here's where perspectives might diverge. As Britain deepens its defence relationship with Turkey, some international observers question whether economic interests are taking precedence over human rights considerations. Is this pragmatic diplomacy at work, or should more conditions be attached to such partnerships? What do you think about the balance between security cooperation, economic opportunity, and values-based foreign policy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 4. Boğaziçi University Security Forum, Global Instability, AI Threats, and Defense in the Modern Era. Global security is teetering on a knife's edge, and the search for solutions is sparking fierce debate in academic circles. Curious about what experts are saying behind closed doors? Here's what happened when Boğaziçi University brought top minds together for its second annual Boğaziçi Lecture on July 5, themed The Future of Regional and Global Security, Opportunities and Challenges. At the heart of the event were influential speakers, Hulusi Akar, head of Turkey's National Defence Committee, and Ben Wallace, the former UK Secretary of State for Defence. With global tensions rising and the world feeling increasingly uncertain, their perspectives offer a glimpse into the challenges and deep divisions shaping our future. The conference opened with remarks by Boğaziçi University Rector Mehmet Nasi İnsay. He stressed that universities should be more than just places to absorb facts, they must be vibrant hubs for questioning, debate, and creative problem-solving. Our mission is to prepare both students and researchers to tackle the world's toughest issues with a critical mindset, İnsay explained. He pushed for more cross-disciplinary collaboration and fresh approaches to worldwide problems, whether it's climate change, the rapid evolution of technology, or ever-shifting geopolitical rivalries. Ben Wallace painted a sobering picture of today's world, describing it as a more anxious than ever before. He argued that we've moved beyond the old era of globalization. Now, even events far away can instantly impact people globally, thanks to the rapid spread of news and opinions via social media. This sense of unease isn't fading soon. Wallace predicted it could fuel greater instability and spark waves of migration as people seek safer ground over the next decade. Here's where it gets controversial. Wallace warned that the true danger may come from governments losing their grip on essential institutions and technologies. He zeroed in on the explosive growth of artificial intelligence, cautioning that tech advancing faster than oversight could be weaponized by terrorist groups. Another flashpoint? The brain drain from advanced economies. Wallace criticized the United States for neglecting education and skilling up its workforce, a stance certain to spark debate among policymakers. Although neither Turkey nor the UK belongs to the EU, Wallace argued both nations hold key positions within Europe's security landscape. He believes this separation offers increased flexibility for trade and defence partnerships, a bold claim that's likely to attract both supporters and skeptics. Wallace also didn't shy away from the tough financial realities. We have long been engaged in a quiet conflict with our adversaries, from cyber attacks to disinformation campaigns and proxy wars, he said, suggesting that protecting national security may require the UK to boost defence funding. But at what cost to health, education, or other public services? That's a question worth arguing over. He spotlighted the war in Ukraine as the UK's biggest security concern, underscoring Britain's continued commitment to stand by Ukraine. Simultaneously, Wallace reaffirmed the UK's opposition to recent violence in Gaza and backed a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a point that often divides opinion within the international community. Hulusi Akar took an even broader view, declaring that the post-WWII world order is no longer equipped to handle today's crises. He described the ongoing devastation in Gaza as genocide, a statement sure to ignite strong reactions and debate. Akar also pointed to sweeping changes in technology, innovation, and economic trends as new forces reshaping global security. He expressed hope that forums like this will deepen Turkey's academic and diplomatic efforts moving forward. And this is the part most people overlook. Will events like these actually spark real-world change, or do they merely offer a stage for grand declarations? Should universities take a more active role in shaping security policy, or stick to the sidelines and let governments lead? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the warnings and recommendations shared by these global security leaders, or do you see things differently? Let the debate begin.